Hello, 7th graders. This is your last day before spring break, and I hope that you're all feeling well and doing well. I wanted to remind all of you that today is still a learning day. You have a lot of things we need to understand. Of course, I am going to review this when we come back, but it'd be a great idea if we get started today. So for what we're going to be showing you on this first video is numbers 19 and 20, since they both kind of work together. Again, this is lesson 8.1.2. Okay, Josh is starting a round of golf. His first hole is 130 yards long. He needs to decide which club to use for his first shot. Okay, so over the time that he has been playing golf, this is the wedge shot. If you know anything about golf, there's something called a wedge. It's a very short club with a high loft, making the ball go upwards very quickly. And an 8-iron, still a pretty short club, but not quite as high of a loft as the wedge has. But what we're trying to figure out is which one's closest to the pin, and these are all the distances, etc. So what I did is I went ahead and used a stem and leaf plot to go ahead and organize all my digits already. And I already created my my histogram, much like it asks in letter A of 19. Okay, so 19A says, hey, make a histogram. So when you look at these numbers, in our histogram, we're going to count all the numbers up to and including 5. So the numbers we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excuse me, not including 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anything up to 5. There are 5 numbers almost to 5. Okay, then we look at the next set of numbers, 5 and 7. It looks like there's 2 of them that are less than 10. And then less than 15, there are 0. There are none. But 15 up to 20, almost at 20, there's 1 of those as well. And then we go here, we have a 22. There's 1 of those that is 22. It's almost 25, but not quite. And then we have 1 that is including 25. So we have 1, 1, and 1, 2, and 5. When we look at all those, that makes 10 numbers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. Okay, so now that helps us figure out what it looks like for our frequency being close to the pin. This is 5 feet away from the pin or the flag, 10 feet away, 15 away, etc. Now let's look at the next set of data with the 8-iron. Okay, here's the 8-iron numbers. This is, of course, your stem and leaf plot. When I get these numbers, I'm going to go ahead and graph those as well in my histogram. Yeah, I can remember the name. There is one number that is 0 up to, but not including 5. There are 4 numbers up to, but not including 10. That means 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8. Okay. Then we have, how many are next? 7, I believe. 7 numbers that are 10 up to, but not including 15. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. And then we have 9, so that's between 15 and 20, but there's only 1. That represents 19. And then there is 1 that is a 20. So this is what your histogram will look like for your 8-iron. Okay. Now we need to find some information out. Let's look at this. Let's find the mean of these numbers. When you add all these numbers together, remember, this represents 1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 7. This is 15, 22, and 25. When you add all those together and divide by 10, okay, so we're going to divide all those by 10, the mean is 8.2. Okay, mean is 8.2. The median, if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 5th one. So the median is right there. What is the average between 3 and 5? It's 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to say our median is 4. Okay? Okay. Oh, we're going to need those. But first, let's look at letter A. It says create the histogram and box plot. Place the box plot above the histogram on the same number line for each club to make a combination plot. Use a bin width of 5 yards. So we're going to put our box and whisker plot up here. B, to find the typical distance that Josh hits the ball from the hole with a wedge. Is the mean or the median a better choice? Well, with the wedge, we find the mean and the median. Which is the better choice? Well, it depends. If you want to show that, hey, he's really close to the pin a lot and he's very consistent with that, you choose the median. If he wants to choose, look, where I make most of my mistakes, he would say the mean is 8.2. For my purposes, I always like to be positive. Hey, I do the best when my median is 4. So that's what I would choose. So for part B, I would choose the median. Okay? Find the typical distance Josh hits the ball from the hole with a wedge and compare it to the typical distance he hits the ball from with the 8-iron. In other words, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to find the mean and the median. Okay? Well, the mean on this one, the mean here for part B, the mean is we add all those together and we divide by 14. Okay? So the mean is going to be, we found out, is 10.7. Add all the digits together, divide by 14. Use a calculator, it's perfectly fine. Okay, let's go on to the median. Median, M-E-D-I-A-N, the median. The median is when we count inward, and there's 14, so I count in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's this number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That number. The average between 11 and 11 is 11. So the median is 11. Okay. Which one would I choose for this? Hey, I'd probably choose the mean on this one. The mean is a little bit closer. That's what I would do. Okay. So there you go. So I would say the mean of the wedge is better than the mean of the 8-iron. Now, advise Josh which club to use and explain what you're thinking that. So hopefully you all figured out, something and some reason why you're going to tell Josh what to use. Okay? Probably the most typical answer is that Josh should use the wedge because the wedge is closer to the pin in both his average and the median. These are a little bit higher. Okay? So that's what you would probably say. Okay, there you go. So let's go on to number 20 now, that we've decided that letter C for all of this would be to pick the mean or median of the wedge. Okay, there you go. So that's what we would choose. Let's move on to number 20. Now, for number 20, it asks you a couple different things, which is some of the stuff we probably can work out here. It is important to consider the spread of the data as it is to consider the center when comparing these data sets. Calculate the interquartile range. Okay, so for number 20, okay, part A, we want to find the IQR, or inner quartile or interquartile range. Spelled this way, interquartile range. So we have to find the quartiles, okay? So how do we do that? Of course, we remember that we're taking the median of the lower half and a median of the upper half. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 digits. I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3, circle it, 1, 2, 3, and circle it. Right here is the Q1, or lower quartile. So we're going to say for number 20, Q1 is 2. For Q3 on this, again, it's the same idea. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's 15. Q3 is 15. Okay. For this one here, we're going to count the data in again. We had 14 digits, so that was right here. Here's the median. And we had 14, so we are going to be able to have 7 here. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to circle that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll circle there. So the Q1 of this data is 8. Q3 of this data is the upper group. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, it's 12. 12. Okay, there we go. So now, previously in number 19, I'll go back to 19A, create a histogram and box plot for each of the clubs. Place the box plot above the histogram on the same number line for each club to make a combination plot. So this is what I'm going to do. When they say a combination plot, they want you to graph the box plot just on the same exact scale, exactly above and below each other. So for this one, since it's the wedge, I'm going to go ahead and find my Q1, which is the number 2. So if you use this as your number line right here, 2 would be about right here. Then my Q3 is 15, which would be about right there. The median, what did we say the median was? Oh yeah, it's 4. I forgot to write that down. It's 4. So at 4, which is right there, okay, that's what it's going to look like. There's my box. Okay, that's 2, that's 4. The closest to the pin would be 0 feet, so that's my lowest number, and my highest number was 25. It's going to look like this. There's my box and whisker plot. Okay, now this one I'm going to do the same thing. For this one, it's even a little different. So let's look at these. Okay, so I should have, let's see, where is my median? It's 11. 11 is going to be right about here. Okay, there's my 11. Q1 is 8. 8 gets us about right here. And Q3 is 12. 12, 11 to 12, that's only one spot away. There you go. There is my box. Boy, that's a tiny box. Now my lowest number was 3, so I'm going to take and extend this down to here. And my highest number was 20. So that goes right there. Okay. Now that we've calculated the IQR and we've graphed this on the number line, we see that we have the same scale all the way up and down. If Josh decided to use the 8 iron, he could typically expect to hit the ball so that it lands between 8 and 12 yards from the hole. Okay, the 8 iron, between 8 and 12 yards from the hole. This is indicated by the box on the box plot display and corresponds with the IQR. Okay, the IQR. Oh, what is the IQR? For here, the IQR is 15 minus 2. That's 11. For here, the interquartile range is, let's see, 12 minus 8. That's 4. So the interquartile range is 4. Okay. So what does that mean? If Josh decided to use the wedge, what is a typical interval of distances from the hole he could expect the ball to land? The typical interval for the wedge is what? Well, we would say it's between 2 and 15 yards. Okay, so for number 20, part B, say it's typical for the ball to land between 2 and 15 yards. YDS. Okay? If Josh decided to use the wedge, what is a typical interval of the distances? We just did that. Okay? Okay. Compare the interval of distances from the 8 iron. Okay? This is the 8 iron. No, this is Part B, let's go back. 8 and 12 yards from the hole, correct. This is indicated by the box plot QR. If Josh decides to use the wedge, what is a typical interval? The wedge is between 2 and 15 yards. There you go. We were right. Let's go on to part C. Okay. Letter C. Compare the typical interval of distances for the 8-iron with the interval you found for the wedge. Do you wish to modify your advice to Josh? Well, typically, we're going to land between 8 and 12 yards. Okay, in this 8-iron. Okay, 8 to 12 yards. But he's a little more sporadic. Okay, with the wedge. The wedge is usually 2 to 15 yards. So what are you going to tell Josh? Josh, which one would you use? I would tell Josh probably to use the 8-iron because he's more consistent. Use the 8-iron because you are more consistent. Okay? But you may choose to say, hey, out of the 10 shots, you landed 5 within 5 feet of the pin. You may say that would work too. So either way, you just need to explain why you would choose what you choose. Okay? All right, so hopefully that helps you with number 19 and 20. I'll stop this video and create a new one for number 21.